I noticed while there's an insane amount of guides about weapons, loadouts, and how to win games, it seems like no YouTuber is really taking apart the map we all play on every match itself. I came from a different BR where I was known to be quite a tryhard. So today, after analyzing almost every single weapon of Chapter 5, only Striker AR missing, I am starting a new series called Hotspot Analysis, where I analyze various spots on the map, starting with Reckless Railways. We are gonna be doing this by first splitting the city into different areas, second, going through these areas in detail, third, showing all the car spawns, as cars are insanely important this season, fourth, showing the best drop spots and drop rotations, and finally, fifth, we will talk strategy, meaning important angles, rotations, and how to play Reckless Railways. Okay, before I actually show off every single area, let's split up the city. First, over here on the top left, we will call this area District 1. And it is this whole residential area here, together with the parking spot and the 5 different residential houses. Second, we got the ruins. Third, the main POI of Reckless Railways, the Grand Station. Also the maybe not so grand bus station next to it. Then we got District 2, which will also include the car dealership, as well as the secret hideout. Number 5 is the plaza. Above, we have the boss area, which is the most important POI, since this will have the vault, as well as the medallion and the mythic weapon. And lastly, the area to the right, which I will call Bridgetown. And yes, that will also include the bridge and everything underneath it. Alright, let's start with District 1, more precisely with these 3 residential houses. It doesn't really matter in which one you go first in case you drop here. You will find normal chest loot. Make sure you go over all 3 levels. An easy way to get on the roof is by going over the balcony, stepping on the door and jumping up top. This is actually super useful because in the roofs you will find hidden chests that can have really good loot and you can actually not get to them without breaking the walls. They can spawn in all of these houses in District 1 actually. So this is actually super important to know. Once you're done with the secret chest, you can easily hop onto the next buildings, saving you time. And yeah, you will loot down and do the same thing with the other 3 houses. And the last thing you want to be looting here is the small building in the parking lot. You will also find some cash in here if you need that. Also, of course, there is a reboot van here in case you are missing a teammate and would like them to return to you. And finally, we have a tunnel teleporting us back and forth between both sides of District 1. The next spot we're going to be talking about are the ruins. They are a little bit further outside than the other POIs. And to be honest, there's not much here. We do not have all that many loot spawns. If you are forced to drop here because everything else is super busy, it is of course better to drop here than drop together with 1 or 2 other players on the same building. Some cool things to look out for here is this little pass here that allows you to climb on the higher levels here, even without any movement tools. You will find chests underneath the roofs here. On this run, I got unlucky, but look out for chests right here and on the other side. The main thing the ruins are useful for are the insane angles you get on Reckless Railways. We'll talk about that on the last point of the video, but as you can see, you can easily shoot people that try to camp the bush on the south side of Reckless Railways, which happens quite often when people want to push a third party, the people that are doing the boss. But again, more to that later. The area next to the ruins is the Grand Station, the main POI of the, oh my god, I can't speak, TFK moment. The main POI of the city. There we go. Speak hard. Let me guide you through the looting process from back to front. First up, as you can see, right here we have some hidden loot. We can just break the floors to get it easily, by the way. Then there's another hidden loot spot right here. And yeah, in general, you will find loot, of course, on top of the stairs as well as the bottom. So make sure you don't leave anything out here. There's gonna be some toilet chests every now and then as well. And on the other side, we have the bounty board as well as the vending machine, which will be, of course, super useful to shield up early game. Under the stairs can also be chest spawns, as well as up here on these weird spots that don't really look like they can be loot, but they can be, as you can see there. Also, there's a really cool way to get on top of the Grand Station without using any movement by climbing up right here. And from here, you will have some really good angles on all sides. Rest of the loot is when you get back down. There's 2 more small rooms that you can check on both sides again, as well as the main train station thing in the middle. The next area is District 2, which has 3 pretty large buildings, as well as the car dealership, which is super huge, and a hidden hideout where you can find weapon cases. Okay, we're gonna start with the car dealership. The actual car dealership is actually not that huge itself. However, the guaranteed car spawns are super good here. But of course, we'll talk about that later at car spawns. Looting here is pretty straightforward. Make sure you loot the little room to the left as well as the top of them. However, in the next room, there is a god spot up here. So if you get chased early game, climb climb up here and you will have insane angles. And lastly, when you go back outside, you can get on a roof by jumping on these tires. The roof will also have loot, as well as pretty legit angles on District 2, as well as the plaza. The other buildings look pretty straightforward. However, just outside the next building next to the car dealership, you will find a tunnel that brings you straight into the hideout, where you can find weapon cases, which is of course insane to find early in a game. Might of course also be contested. I will talk more about it when I go over the drop spots. The other way in is by going to the nearest entrance from the direction of the Grand Station. Just go down the basement and you will find the hideout that way as well. After you come back up, you can see 2 barrels right here, which can of course be super useful, especially early game, perhaps after a drop fight. The rest of the building is really not so notable. However, the center building is. First up, you can of course just loot it normally. Make sure you check the toilet for toilet chests. Those are my favorite. But the cool stuff is actually upstairs. After going up, go through this door and you will find 3 bonus barrels, as well as another room with food. This building is super good to heal up, even if you come here late game. If you're missing health, go right here. And then the best thing about this building is if you go up even further, you can get on the big balcony, which gives you the best angles in all directions in all of Reckless Railways. This is the prime position. You have really great cover in all directions. And the very best part is all the way on the roof, where you have these 3, I really have no idea how to call this in English. Let's say metal blocks that give you insane cover in all directions. Of course, you can also be shot from all directions, so be very careful. But this is the prime spot for late game in Reckless Railways. One more notable thing, if you know somebody is hiding in this building, you can jump up right here and you can get crazy angles through the windows, guys. Look out for this. Next up, the plaza. Okay, there really isn't too much to say here. It is in the center of Reckless Railways. You can find some loot here. However, I highly recommend crossing this area as fast as possible. People have angles on you from literally everywhere and you have almost no cover. One cool thing to know is you can jump on these red thingies. Red thingies, man. English, wait, let me check. Parasol? I've never heard that word in my life. I'm gonna call it umbrella, okay? You can jump on these to get a bonus height. Useful when you have an auto shotgun. In general though, guys, try to avoid the plaza, and if you have to, cross it as fast as possible. Next up, we have the most important POI of the whole city, and that is the boss area, where you find, you guessed it, the boss Valeria, that drops a medallion as well as Valeria's Hyper SMG, which is trash. And of course, the vault that you will use to upgrade your gear. The easiest way to get in and out of the vault are these stairs here. You can also use them to go upstairs to get some good damage in on the boss. Be careful with this stuff here. It's pretty hard to actually vault out. This got me killed multiple times already. You can also use this to jump all the way on top of the roof, which is super useful. Again, to do damage on the boss or to third party, whoever is doing the boss. After you're done with the boss, of course, take the medallion and Valeria's Hyper SMG if you want to play with trash loot. Why am I dissing her so much? I don't know. And yeah, the rest of the building is this little secret room here where you can actually jump on top. This usually has a chest right here as well as of course an insanely good hiding spot if you ever need to hide. For example, because you're running Valeria's trash Hyper SMG. Yeah, there's some bonus loot everywhere in this area as well, guys. And of course, after you take the stairs, you will find the vault as well as a couple of bonus rooms and a room with some barrels. But yeah, if you take a left after you come down the stairs, you will find the vault. You will of course take all the loot, upgrade your weapons, get some cash and some ammo, of course. And since people really enjoy camping vaults, be careful when you go out. Try to rush for the tunnel, as this will bring you back safely to the plaza. And to be honest, you should take cover in the Grand Station ASAP. Now that we're done with the boss area, we will go over to our last area, Bridgetown. Yes, we're calling this one building a town. Afterwards, we can finally move on to the next points, but trust me, they will be much shorter. This here was the main beef of the video. However, the last parts are actually the most important one. Let's continue. As you saw right there, we have a bounty bot on the building, and at the bus station right next to it, you will always find a food container. By the way, you will find loot on these tables, so make sure to check that as well. As well as, of course, inside this little mini tunnel here, you will find 2 barrels as well. Pretty nice for early game. And you can also find some sweet, sweet toilet chests here. The main use of this area is actually the roof of the little building here, because you can get some really insane angles on Reckless Railways here. And yeah, you are not gonna cross the bridge because the bridge, oh my god, the bridge is absolute suicide. You're gonna swim through the water, and on the other side you can find some loot as well. Usually not too much, sadly, but I will always have some food containers as well if you desperately need heal. And then there's a really cool thing. You can actually climb up this wall. Also on the other side, by the way, but this is a way better way to cross than the actual bridge, unless of course you have a car. Okay, finally, car spawns. We will start right where we left off. The parking space in Bridgetown spawns cars. What a surprise. As well as the car dealership. Also, a big surprise. That we showed in District 2. And afterwards, we head back to District 1, where again, in the parking space and the bus station, we will find cars. Fortnite is kind of role-playing here. Also, a little bit outside of District 1, you will also find car spawns right here. And the last two spawns will be at the boss area. The first one here actually being a little bit harder to find. But check this, this almost always has a car. And the other spawn is right here in front of the gate. Okay. Next point, drop spots. There's of course different ways to go about it. And at the end, I'll show you my favorite. But if you want a slow start, drop District 1 or drop District 2. But make sure you avoid the secret hideout because usually someone drops directly on it. If you want a medium start, you will be able to pick up some loot, but might have to start fighting within the first minute. Drop Grand Station. You saw it earlier, it has lots of loot, but also plenty of space. So you can avoid enemies even if they're with you in the Grand Station. And if you want hot drops, go either directly to the boss area, which I really cannot recommend, or go for the secret hideout in District 2. Secret hideout is definitely a better one, as you will at least get very good loot very fast. And my favorite drop personally is on top of Grand Station. Yes, I left out a part on purpose because I wanted to surprise you right here. You can go inside of these little towers, and they usually also have a chest on top. If anybody pushes you here, you have the most disgusting angle in the whole game on them. And while you're flying in, you will check if anybody is going hideout. If not, you are insanely closed and I will push it right away after. But if yes, if someone did actually go there, I will go to the Grand Station before rotating to the boss. Make sure you either third party or eliminate all surrounding players first. And lastly, places to avoid. Do not drop ruins and Bridgetown. The loot is very, very bad. Plus, they're both very far away from the rest of the loot. You will almost always have a very bad start. And yeah, let's talk strategy. I just explained my drop rotation, which is pretty much how I would recommend playing the early game in Reckless Ray Race. Of course, if you like to drop on any of the other spots, play it the same way regardless. If you get into fights in Reckless, in the mid or late game, new angles will open up. The most important ones being Bridgetown, ruins, and a small hill next to the boss area. Always keep an eye out for these. And on the other side, use them to get good angles on the enemies. Especially useful, the small hill next to the boss area. I got plenty of kills from there. Ruins is really good if people are fighting at Grand Station. And Bridgetown gives you the best angles on the plaza, as well as people hiding next to the boss area on the first spot that I just named. And of course, if you make it into Reckless Railways for an end game, try to get the middle center building. Little extra that I forgot earlier at Bridgetown. Yes, one way to cross is through the water and climb the wall. There's another way though, and that is a small tunnel to the left that also teleports you over. Okay, this was my first time ever doing a hotspot analysis. I would really appreciate some feedback. Did you like the way I approached this? Would you like to see different topics covered in these? Which spot would you like to see next? And guys, I'm still a super small channel and I would really like to change that. I'm honestly putting a lot of thought and effort into my videos. This one here was a nightmare to make. Had a lot of fun though, and honestly, I myself learned so much about Reckless Railways just by like really taking it apart, knowing how exactly the tunnels work, the most efficient ways to get into the hideout, as well as the vault, plus knowing where exactly to loot. Like this all was a lot of value to myself even, so this was already good just doing it for myself. But yeah, I hear we're getting a new patch on January 23rd. I have one more video planned before, but yeah, once it drops, of course, covering everything coming in the next patch. I am super excited what Epic will bring, and I hope to see you guys there.